I'm going to introduce Donna. She is my wife of 21 years. She has a heart as big as Texas, and she likes to educate people about being healthy. She is a certified natural health practitioner, a traditional naturopath. She really has helped a ton of people, and I'm just excited for her to help me, but also to share some of this knowledge with you. So, without further ado, let's give Donna a big round.
So who wants to help keep him accountable? I want to be after Dr. Mark, don't you? So I'm going to need your help in that because coming from a spouse, as you all know, the spouse is not who you want to hear that from. In your eyes, I'm Wonder Woman, and in my eyes, you're Superman. Don't tell me any different. So that's really how we try and work things as well. So he did this introduction, which I had planned, and my voice doesn't necessarily carry, so you'll have to remind me, hey, speak up a little bit, or speak up a little bit, or speak from the diaphragm, as Dr. Mark says. So give me hints and cues and all of that, because I tend to go off on a rabbit trail or talk to myself, or the fact that I get so excited about some of this stuff, I'll be like, oh my goodness, and you'll be like, whoa, we were way over here. So if I start to do that, you'll just kind of have to rein me back. So round of applause. Which one is going to make you healthier, the orange? Only one? Or the cookie?
Only it's oatmeal.
Orange? Okay, we're done. So you basically all know that, right? Class is over. We've got pizza. We're ready to go. So my point is, you all know that. You know you're supposed to choose an orange over a cookie, right? You really know which foods can be better for you or should be better for you than those others. So what I really want to talk about tonight is the why. Why should we do this? So why does anyone else want to get healthy? What's the challenge for you? What does it mean to you to get healthy? Anyone?
Totally eat better, and I'm newly diagnosed diabetic, so I am reversing my diabetes. So
Perfect.
this class comes at the right time.
So a lot of people, and that's great that you mentioned that chronic disease. And I'm sorry to hear that, but we can help you with that. The thing is a lot of people say, I'll have a couple cookies, I'll gain a few pounds, it'll be okay. Well, if I gained 3 pounds every year now till when I'm 70, how many is that going to be? Like hundreds of pounds, because I have lots of years before I get to 70. But the point is eating healthy, it has a little bit to do with weight, but that weight can go on to chronic disease. So that's what I want to get at tonight is you can do all of the challenges and you can lose that weight. But if you don't know why you lost that weight, if you don't know why you want to keep that weight off, then you're going to gain it back. So we went through this. I want you to think about your state of health, where it is now, where you want it to go, and think about the decisions that you can make. Your poor health decisions. We know that it could be brain fog, lethargy, chronic disease, diabetes at a young age, Alzheimer's at a young age. Could we stave some of these things off? Possibly, by what we've chosen to put in our mouths. Same thing with the good health decisions. Better disposition. Oh, wouldn't we like some people to have better disposition? They need to eat sometimes, right? Less pain. That would be great. We love to treat people with pain in our office, but we would love to have you have less pain. That's really what we're here for. Better communication and better learning. Spouses, children, teachers, all of that. But why? Who cares? If I get diabetes and it progresses and I have to inject myself with insulin, I can handle that. I'm tough. If I have rheumatoid arthritis and I've got to push through my day because it hurts, that's fine. I'm tough. But who depends on you? Your family. You got your kids, your spouse. In my case, my parents. I've got staff. They depend on us to be here every day, just like we depend on them. So if I've got coworkers, if my team is not here, I'm not here for my team, they are being affected by my chronic disease. It isn't just us. So who will end up taking care of you? Is it your wife that you're like, oh, she's awesome. She's got her own career, she's got her profession. We've got our own things that we like to do together, and then we do these things separately, and she has to stop because you didn't take care of yourself. Now, there are things that happen, absolutely. We have a friend who just survived 3 strokes and lymphoma. If he had not been healthy before he had these health crises, then he wouldn't have survived them. His health crises came from genetic disposition for clotting factor, which I've noticed with my clients is pretty prevalent up here in central Minnesota. So there are things that maybe you can't change that are going to happen, but in order for you to get through them, let's be healthy before that happens. So, like anything, these slides were a lot prettier when I had better graphics or fonts on it, but so it's just me. You get out what you put in. So if you're going to put in a lot of junk, if you're going to put in the easy foods, your body's going to do the easy thing. You didn't put in what it took to build a healthy body, the body's going to say, then I'm not building it. That's just the way it works. It's going to do what you want it to do. You're going to put in something like Diet Pop or aspartame that's going to tear down the body. The body's going to say, sure, because that's what you wanted me to do. Those were the signals that you gave me. Muscle function and pain, immune function, respiratory function. Definitely I could get an inhaler, right? I could move through that disease with an inhaler. What happens when you get early dementia and Alzheimer's? Not necessarily one of those things that you can move through. At the same time, when you start to put in healthy foods, those are signals. Every food that you put in signals to your body exactly what you want it to do, build or deplete. In our office, we talk a lot about the subluxation, how the nerve flow goes to the spine. Subluxation, that means your bone is out of place pinching on a nerve. That way your heart's not going to have the best function, your spleen's not going to have the best function. But what if that gallbladder is a little bit tricked out right now? It's not infected, but it's telling you, hey, there might be a problem. Those nerves are going to go back into the spine. Dr. Mark is going to adjust you and say, yes, I see a subluxation. You're going to come back and say, your subluxation's not holding. What's going on? Okay, we're going to do this again. You keep going out of the office, and you go from our office, and you have a happy meal. Your gallbladder is going to freak. It's going to cause another subluxation. Guess what? Dr. Mark gets to see you again. Is that, I'd love to see you, but is that really what you want to do? So know that those irritated nerve pathways go both ways. So 1 in every 4 patients suffers from GI distress. But they come in here not even knowing that their stomach ache is actually related to what they're coming in for, their migraine headache. Well, when we talk to them a little bit further, how's your digestive system? How, do you have heartburn? Do you have things going on? Well, yeah, but I'm here because my head hurts. Well, this is all connected to this. And we'll talk a little bit more about that so people don't understand yet those connections to what you're putting in. So where does digestion start? Bueller. Got an idea? Okay, chewing. My best teacher in the audience. Well, I can't say that now. There are a couple in here. That is usually what people say.
In the brain.
But in the brain, have you ever walked into a Mexican restaurant and you're drooling? You're like, oh, yeah, I so want what I'm smelling. And the body's already reacting. You're actually starting to build those digestive juices because your body's saying, this is what's coming next. I look at this plate of food and I'm like, there's chocolate there. And my brain is already like, ooh, reward centers are fired. And they're like, you want that even though you were totally stuffed. Anybody eat a little too much over the holidays? You had to fit in that one last little thing? That's kind of the way it is. The brain is starting to say, oh, I want a little more of that. We're going to do a quick digestive review about what's going on when you actually eat that cookie, that ham sandwich, where things are going. First thing, Austin Rourke, chew your food. I can pick on him. He's my son. We're happy to have him back from college, but I do get to pick on him. But one thing you'll see with teenagers and kids of all ages is they scarf their food down. Some of it is trained because they have like 5 minutes at school to eat. Other than that, they just aren't thinking. But you've got to chew your food to about the consistency of cake batter. They used to have little counters. Seriously, in the 70s, they had counters you would put by your plate. You needed to chew until the counter was done. They don't do that anymore for obvious reasons. So the amylase in the saliva comes out and it helps to break down the potatoes, the processed foods, processed carbs, that kind of thing. Breaks up all those pieces through the digestive system. Those pieces come back and they make more saliva. So if you're a person that has dry mouth and you just can't figure out why you've got this dry mouth, try chewing your food a little bit better for one, but then understand that maybe you're not digesting your carbohydrates. Enzymes are what makes this apple brown. So when this got dented, it actually broke open all of the little things that hold the enzymes in there. The enzymes are there to help break this down into all of its little pieces that can be used by either the new fruit, the new seed inside, or when we put it into our bodies, break it down into all the little parts that our body can use. Without this little enzyme, all you have is pieces of apple. You don't have vitamin C. You don't have all of the little things that the apple is made of. And so that's why enzymes become very, very important. A real food like this obviously has enzymes. If you get processed food, it doesn't go bad, right? It doesn't spoil. It doesn't have its natural enzymes. It's pretty much a dead food. So your body has to create all of the foods or enzymes to do that. So then it follows down that little tube called the esophagus and it empties into the stomach. The stomach, of course, is that bag of muscle that's just grinding away your food. And you're thinking all it's doing is just mixing it up. It's really not doing much, right? It's just kind of getting it down into this little, again, cake batter. Well, anybody have problem with stomach acid? Anybody talk about that a little bit? So what the doctor says is, well, let's bring down that stomach acid because you obviously have too much. Well, there's a little valve on top that is signaled to close by the amount of stomach acid. If you have a little less stomach acid, not enough, that valve isn't going to close. So you have spurts of stomach acid, you have spurts of food, you get GERD and everything else. So let's give it more Tums and bring down more stomach acid. Or we should supplement with a little hydrochloric acid, getting that back up. Anybody use apple cider vinegar at those times?
Great salad dressing.
It is great salad dressing. But at those times, sometimes you can tell which way your body is at. I'm going to take a little apple cider vinegar at that time, and if it quells that, that's the body saying, oh, you didn't have enough acid. If it kind of burns after that, you're like, oh, yeah, I did have enough acid, and your body's going to do that. It's affected by stress because when the lion comes out of the weeds, you're going to run, right? Your body does not want to digest foods. It does not want to make babies. It shuts down those two things. So what it'll do is it will stop that digestion from happening. So when you're stressed, now if your boss is that lion, you need to get away from the lion. Look at those stressors in your life and try and control it that way. Artificial foods, well, we just talked about dead foods. There's not enough in there to actually build those enzymes. Acid breaks down proteins, right? Into the little amino acids. They go off and do their things. Amino acids come back. They make more acid or enough acid for the next meal. So if you're not getting enough protein because you're not really a meat person, well, we need to find out a way for you to get better protein. There's protein in beans, there's protein in vegetables. Make sure you're getting the right things, the right amount of protein. Now, there's a billion different ways to calculate how much protein that you should have. It all depends on your makeup, your gender, all kinds of things. Basically, your weight divided by 2.2 is the very minimal. So when you see this saying, oh, just divide your weight by 2.2, that's kind of the minimal protein you should be looking at, really building it from there. Over-the-counter medication, OTC. So antacids, third most common. I think we can tell a story. He's not here tonight. We had a gentleman come in. He has colon cancer that runs in his family. He tells us, well, you know what, I'm here. I just haven't been able to eat well for the last 3 weeks. And, all of a sudden my stools are black, and then they're regular, and then they're black, and now I have black on my tongue. Dr. Mark and I are like, well, let's see that medical doctor because you need to get to the medical doctor. Because we're like, wow, with those symptoms and when you're turning black from the inside out, we got a problem. Well, the medical doctor says, well, how much Pepto-Bismol are you taking? Mark and I went, oh, that's right. But our first thought, of course, was let's get him taken care of and rule out anything that's severe. And then when he came back and he said, guess what? How was that going? And we all jumped for joy that it was Pepto-Bismol, but it shows he was turning black from the inside out. Okay, that wasn't really helping, was it? So what we do is supplement with hydrochloric acid. So after it goes through the stomach, you know, all of those things where the calcium is supposed to be absorbed, the minerals are supposed to do their thing. If you ate a really nice salad, or if you had a really nice shake a day where you had the liquid minerals and everything to be absorbed, goes into the liver. The liver takes care of every toxin that comes in, so it has to make every toxin go out. So when you are deliberately oxifying it, when we do alcohol, when we put into our bodies high fructose corn syrup, which works on the liver similar to alcohol. It can cause a cirrhosis of the liver from someone who never drank a drop in their life. That's why high fructose corn syrup can get so bad. It will congest that liver terribly. Processed foods, because it doesn't have the enzymes, the liver's working really hard, and the body doesn't recognize what it is, so it sees it as a toxin. It is a huge blood filter, so it's going to filter out all the nasties. When you drove over here, you were breathing exhaust. It's just in the air. There's nothing you can do about that. There are so many things that you can't do anything about. Food is the one thing you can. What you deliberately put into your body makes a difference. Now, the liver makes the bile and the gallbladder holds it, right? Anybody have their gallbladder removed? How'd that go for you? Awesome. And they didn't even tell you afterward to say, they probably said, now you can eat whatever you want. My cousin did that, and her doctor said, yep, you should be fine. You know, you just go ahead and go back to your regular diet. Well, she was a cheese pizza nut. Well, if you know anything about the gallbladder and the bile works like Dawn dishwashing soap. You know how it breaks up the grease on the dishes? It does the same thing to the oils and fats. If you have a good fat, like an omega-3, EPA, DHA that you find in fish oil, flax, those good foods, it's really going to make that gallbladder work well. It's going to make it squirt out what it needs to, taking care of any of those extras that cause stones or anything else inside. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But the point is the liver makes that bile, which is going to be held by the gallbladder, because it's not an extra part. And when she had her gallbladder removed, and a week later she's eating cheese pizza, she's like, I'm in horrific pain. Well, didn't someone tell you that that's what the gallbladder did? Well, no. Was it diseased? No, I just had pain and they didn't know what it was from, so they took it. Okay, let's do a little bit more investigation. If it's diseased, absolutely, it needs to be gone. There's limits of everything. You okay? Do we need some more? But again, this processed foods keeps coming up in every one of it, doesn't it? Processed foods. Can someone tell me what processed foods are? What I mean by that? Artificially made.
The stuff that's on the inside of the grocery store.
The stuff that's inside the grocery store.
Boxes or cans.
Absolutely. I have a grocery store video online that I'll probably put up on Google Drive. We spend a lot of time in the grocery store. If you can think of what something looks like when it's grown or made, you know, it either comes from the land or it has a mother, basically. And then you process it. You've got corn, you've got high fructose corn syrup, you've got ethanol. Oh, they're all natural. I can slap a label on that ethanol and say, it's all natural, it's all good for you. No, it's not. The further it is from what it was when it began, it becomes more poisonous. And so you're going to be putting more and more poisons into the body with more and more processed foods. Same thing if you microwave good foods. Sugars, processed carbs, but it's helped with Holly's awesome beet soup, which we had last night. It was so wonderful, and we did so many good things for our body just by eating those good foods. Coffee, I will not give up coffee, that's just latest. But 2 8-ounce cups in the morning, and that's it. Well, that's what I should have. I'm like Dr. Mark with the beer. I need to cut down on the coffee. But coffee doesn't necessarily have to be out of your diet unless we need to be looking at the caffeine in your adrenal glands, which is another class. Fiber, fish oil, minerals. The gallbladder loves to make stones out of unbalanced minerals. So if your calcium is unbalanced or your magnesium is unbalanced, those things can cause stones. Now, anyone who has a gallbladder attack, did you feel maybe some pain in the back, kind of near your shoulder? Those nerves tend to follow that path up. When you were a little baby and you were a little embryo, all those things are squished together. All those nerves are made. Your body stretches out, those nerves stretch out, but their origins stay the same. So those nerves from the gallbladder still continue on up. Diabetes, anyone?
I guess that's why I'm front and center.
I guess that's why you're here. Too much food, basically, is one of the things because your body has to process all of that. Your pancreas does more than inject insulin. It does more than take care of that sugar spike because the sugar is going to come through, and the faster that's going to be absorbed by your body, the faster the pancreas has to work with it. So then you're going to get the spike, and then you're going to get the dip, right? If you're pre-diabetic and maybe in a reactive hypoglycemic state, if you're a person that within 3 hours after eating, or oh, I've gone too long without eating, the Snickers commercial, Jan and Marcia, all of that, the Snickers commercial, that's a person who has a problem with that sugar metabolism, with that pancreas, making sure we don't wear that out. Just like the saliva had those enzymes breaking stuff down, sometimes the stomach doesn't get to do its job, so the pancreas comes in with some more enzymes. You're eating processed foods, you're eating overcooked foods, you're eating stuff that isn't right for you. All of a sudden your pancreas is working and working and working. You're eating large meals late in the day, working and working and working. So that's one way, again, processed foods, bad foods, too much of a good thing even can become a bad thing for your pancreas. Hemoglobin A1C. Big word, it's a test. Anybody know what it's for?
Oh, the A1C? You mean the average of blood sugars over the period of like 3 months?
Absolutely. It's how your body uses your blood sugar, you do that, over the 3 months from your red blood cells. So that's what they're testing, right?
Yeah.
So they correlated brain capacity to people's A1C. If you have a normal average A1C, you're going to be at the 5 or less. That's basically where they want that. When you become diabetic, things are a little bit of a problem. They're monitoring that. They're like, "Ooh, you're getting way, way up there." So they correlated all of that constant processed sugar or simple carbs, how your body's handling that, to your brain chemical or your brain function. So in this slide, your annual brain loss, and your brain can physically shrink or decline in function. Big word over there? Everybody knows that one. I don't even have to explain it because it's so prevalent now. In the 70s, we said, oh, high carb is great. Your brain is great runs on sugar. Love sugar. So what did we do before every test? When the kids had tests, we gave them granola bars. And then halfway through their test, they're fidgety. They're like, oh, I'm ready to be done with this test. Because they had a lot of sugar. Now, if we would have balanced that with a healthy fat, so maybe a mozzarella stick and an apple, giving them something to actually balance that, then that would be a healthier fuel for the brain. The brain actually works better on DHA, on good fats, on things like that, rather than giving it the simple sugars. Simple sugar is great for a caveman. If you're running, if we're doing farm work, if we did farm work like we did 100 years ago, because farm work now, when you're sitting on the tractor all day with your GPS actually thinking where your tractor is going to go, is a little bit different than forking that hay onto the tractor and everything else. So being very, very careful. If you remember the food guide pyramid, they said 9 to 12 servings of grain on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
1 slice of bread is a serving. Okay, that's a loaf of bread. We really need to be eating a loaf of bread a day? So they redid those studies and they found out, okay, maybe if you're training for a marathon, you should have more than 1 serving. Other than that, 1 serving of complex carbohydrates, a good rice, getting you those good B vitamins, not the pastas, not the everything else. That's what you need. So we've gone this far into the GI system and we haven't even scratched the surface of the most important part. But here we are, and we've already found the places that diabetes can start. Chronic disease, migraines, infertility, all of those things, and we haven't even gotten to the biggest part yet. Literally the biggest part because it's 20 inches long. So Amy is going to hand out a piece that's similar to the small intestine. And we'll just pass them back and forth here.
It's not real.
It's not real. So when you get this piece, you'll realize, like a bath towel, is kind of fuzzy, has those little loops on it, right? So the villi, that's what those little things are called, the little finger-like things. They're called the villi. The nutrients bathe over that villi, and they work like in a sea anemone, and they're taking in all of the good things. Well, what if your pancreas didn't do its job and it didn't shoot out that amylase? What if a foreign particle that's not down where it should be lodges in between here? Think about a burr right in here. And if you look at my board later, all the little convolutions, it's not like it can go, oh, let's just take that right out of there. It sits in there and it irritates, and then you have diverticulitis. And if anybody has had diverticulitis, if you can imagine how that hurts to have a burr right here, imagine that inside your stomach, and you're still trying to pass food by that. That's what people go through, and many, many people go through that. So again, do you have any more here? Okay, so pass those around, and then so just like that pink towel, it's going to be like the normal, like a little sea anemone. If it gets damaged, what damages? Processed foods, right? Pop, alcohol, those kinds of things on a major basis. If you're genetically predisposed to having a sensitivity to something, it can actually come up with damage. So most nutrients are absorbed in the small intestine, but the B vitamins are also made here. So B vitamins are your energy vitamins, right? Great for your nervous system, great for your energy. This is where the probiotics come in. Probiotics help to keep it healthy rather than get disease, because the probiotics, you want a garden in your gut. You want a variety of different things. You don't want just 2 strains unless you've got something going on, because now the studies on probiotics are immense out there, that each strain has a better, can be specific for certain things, specific for diabetes, specific for weight loss, specific for antibiotic therapy. But in general, you need to have that garden going. So that's why I choose a probiotic that has 12 billion colony forming units, because I'm not going to miss one. Yeast in your body, it's supposed to be there. Really? We always try to get rid of it because we have such an overgrowth in the United States because we eat too many carbohydrates. The probiotics will help you to digest any extra food particles, because that's what they're there for, and they in turn make different vitamins out of that. When you overdo a good thing and you overfeed the yeast is just going to run rampant through your body as well. Neurotransmitters, the healthy brain chemicals that keep you happy, keep you steady, keep you from going up and down and sideways. Think they're made up here? They're made on the lining, the outside lining of this. 95% of those brain chemicals are made here, from what's absorbed from here. So if we're putting crap in here, and that's what the body has to make healthy brain chemicals out of, maybe we ought to think about the processed foods when it comes to ADHD or irritable bowel, but different behavioral disorders. How many people are on psychotropic drugs and they're going on, serotonin boosters? And when you have 95% of your serotonin built right here, wouldn't it be a very good thing to actually feed it the right stuff? 85% of your immune system is here. So grandma's chicken soup is wonderful in a million different ways. One of them is because it's really good minerals to be absorbed through the intestine to feed the immune system. Little Debbie's cakes, not so much. And if Little Debbie ate her cakes, she wouldn't be so little, would she? So we have to keep this healthy. Now, going from the standard American diet and trying to eat healthy, you can easily get derailed. A lot of people will skip breakfast. They don't know how to eat. They haven't gotten their plans set yet. So that's where I always recommend a shake. This one I love because it has the omega right in it, the EPA, DHA, and you get that right in there, and the multi-mineral powder. This is more than just a protein shake. Don't go and get muscle milk, and if you want to do it outside the office, I can tell you a better way. Just don't go get muscle milk and that kind of thing for this purpose, because these nutrients are then down to a smaller level where they can actually be absorbed. So if they aren't absorbed, and we talked about that leaky little burr, and we talked about constantly damaging that intestine, you've got a good intestinal wall. It's all really tight, and the villi are letting just go through what's supposed to go through. It's going to go into the bloodstream as an amino acid, and it's going to be used just properly. Now that's through the villi. If it's damaged, it literally will open those junctions, which vitamin D helps to keep them closed. But it'll open those junctions, and sometimes undigested food particles can come by as not like a piece of chicken, here's a hunk going into your bloodstream. But if you can imagine, there's more amino acids hooked together rather than split apart. Now your body says, this is a foreign invader. We need to build an antibody to this. This is maybe bad gluten. This is maybe something in a strawberry. Oh, your body didn't break this down. We need to do something about this. And we need to make an army so that if it ever happens again, we'll go back and get it. So then you just developed some kind of a allergy to it. Million different things, of course, are going to wreck that colon. And the colon is where the water, of course, is absorbed. Toxins are actually absorbed from your body into the colon, of course, so they can get excreted. Inulin and chicory root. See that in a lot of healthy food stuff. And not that it's bad, because it's a good fiber for you. But if you're wondering sometimes where I'm eating this really healthy protein bar, or I'm really doing well with this protein, but for some reason it's still bothering my stomach. Inulin, chicory root, and sugar alcohols, anything that ends with the ol, maltitol, sorbitol, those kinds of things. Variety. Very important to get variety in your fiber, variety in your sugars, variety in all of that. And of course, water, water, water. Probiotics are in the small intestine, a certain one, but then there's another garden in the colon, and those two should not cross. Sometimes that happens where colon probiotics will be in the small intestine because the small intestine is not strong enough to get rid of them. So there are about 500 different forms of healthy bacteria that we need to be watching out for. With so much being absorbed, and again, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Giving your body a break in digestion and just giving it some liquid nutrients sometimes really helps. So what does it got to do? It's going to scream back at you. It's going to give you abdominal pain. It's going to give you heartburn. It's going to say, your pancreas is going to say, I am so done. And then you're going to say, oh, wait a minute, let me take care of you, and maybe we can get you back to working order. And that can happen if you catch it early enough. There comes a point where your pancreas is shot. I'm sorry, we're now on insulin, and there's nothing we can do to reverse it. I haven't heard of reversing Alzheimer's yet. I've heard of stepping on the path and going there. So how do we get rid of all of this? So we're all pretty much addicted to the processed foods, but we're not now. Aren't you all done with the holidays and you're like, you show me a plate of Christmas cookies and I am going to run the other way, because please do not bring them into the teacher's lounge. I think that's a parent's dumping ground. Oh, the teachers will want these bars. They haven't had 60 million on them. My teachers come in all the time. They're like, oh my gosh, I just can't do this anymore. And, for some reason, they don't stand at the door and say, no way, because teachers are so nice. They give in to those parents a little too often sometimes. So that's what this challenge is about. So we want to start the challenge for 2016 because now you may have some really deep-seated goals. You want to reverse your diabetes. You might have some goal where, you know what, I'm pretty healthy, but I think I could be just a little bit healthier. So, and we can sleep. So we have different ways we can do this challenge. This challenge is taking a healthy person, making them a little bit healthier, putting someone on the right path. Next month I'm going to have another class. It's going to be a little bit more precise. So that's why I like to run people through this first. We learn how to eat good foods. We learn how to plan to eat good foods. We know how to prep without spending the entire afternoon, because I have every Saturday free. So I just want to spend 4 or 5 hours cooking meals for the next week. No, let's not do that. Let's find a way that we can do this process and keep it going. Now, you can follow me on Facebook. I'm going to post a lot of the recipes. We're going to do a lot of fun things that way. I'm going to ask for your participation, which is what I'll go through next for the challenge, because this is not necessarily a weight loss challenge. I could get you to lose weight. You know, I'm going to cut your carbs and we're going to say, you're going to do all this. And then when we're done, you're going to go, that was fun. Give me my pizza and beer. I won the challenge. No, I want you to go away with this saying, okay, this is the way I want to eat the rest of my life. Now, the supplements that are mentioned here, our probiotics are 10% off this month, but because you came to the class tonight, this is normally $125 for the month, but it has all of the drink that you'll need for the month, plus the EPA DHA that you'll need for the month, plus the multi-mineral powder. So it's several products all in one. It's normally $125 for the whole month, but it's all in one. Boom. But we've got a 20% off tonight. You won't have to do any shipping and handling because we have kits. If you want to order it online, they still give you the 20% off, but you still have the shipping and handling and tax. Or if you decide tonight that that's what you want to do, this is what my staff will be doing. This is what I will be doing. Because for me, to get myself back in a routine, I like to have the shake. I like to have it as a backup for a snack. I like to have it when I'm running out the door in the morning. I know I'm getting all of my vitamins and nutrients. I know it's getting absorbed. I have irritable bowel. I have to be careful of what I throw in there. It can't always be raw fruits and vegetables and jumping through the forest. I have to be very careful. And so that's why I like some of the liquid nutrients that can really be absorbed. After gallbladder, your body is just racked. And so you really need something to actually help that to absorb. The other part of that, has anyone here had a BIA? You had it, and Austin has had it. A couple back there have had it. Candace has had it. Actually, my staff has had it. Dr. Mark has had it. What I do is I take your measurements, not just fat and lean, because everybody says, oh, I know, I don't need to know about the fat. I'm just fine. No, I know that. What I do is I go down on this to your health on a cellular level. I want to see, do you have grapes where the nutrients are coming in, the waste is coming out, or do you have raisins where, oh, so you have some really sluggish cells right now. Let's wake them up with this healthy eating. Let's see how they're coming along, because after the 21 days and you have that repeat BIA and we've shifted that a little bit or we haven't, and then we go, do we need to look at some adrenals? Do we need to look at some kidneys? Or do we just need to stay the course because it's not long enough for your body? Because everybody feels like, I've been doing this for 21 days. Why have I not lost the weight? Why have I not seen results? People can be the same on the scale, but totally drop the fat or totally get better on their cellular health. I have people come in and say, you know what? I didn't lose a pound since I last saw you 2 weeks ago, but I feel awesome. You know, my clothes fit better. I can tell everything is shifting. And I don't do this every 2 weeks. It's a 4 to 6 week thing. Otherwise, it's just too much to talk about all the time. Generally, we get to the bottom of their food issue, and then we realize that, okay, your body's going to shift. And it's not necessarily going to drop the weight if it doesn't want to break down that fat. There are toxins in that fat. There are hormones in that fat. And your body's going to protect itself and say, ooh, I'm not busting down that fat because I know what's in there, and I can't handle it. So then we support the liver. So that is the BIA normally, to have a 1 hour consultation with me, plus the BIA, go through everything, set up a plan. That's $50.
What does it stand for, BIA?
Bioimpedance analysis. Did that clear that up for you?
Yeah.
I thought that did would too. Dr. Mark always says, you got to explain BIA. I'm like, well, it means please come in and get this test because it's really helpful. So a 1 hour test with me, getting all of this done, talk about your family history, talk about where you want to go, all of your goals. That's usually $50 each. And because of this, I would like you to get a baseline now and a follow-up later. So 2 of them I'm offering for the price of 1. If you want to do it as a couple and if you do a 2 for 1 on your couple and whatever, that works out too. That's really the best way to start and measure your results. Okay? We're gonna have some cocktails here in a minute. Okay, so the way the challenge is going to work, because I'm not going to go into all of your little homes and say, what's your weight today? How we doing? And we're going to, that's you can send me that information, but it's all participation based. So if you're on Facebook, if you're not, we can work that out, okay? So that you can still be a participant in because the point of this is all of you supporting all of you. It's not just for me to give you stuff and you go, great. I got better things to do too. So I need you to support you. 1 point for a comment on the post. And we'll hand this all out to you too. 2 points for making suggested recipe. So you'll have points. 5 points for the BIA, 10 points for purchasing the Shake a Day kit. Now it's not highly weighted on buying anything because you can certainly make up those points in here. So these are the best way to get your best results. But if that does not resonate with you, I'm not going to force anyone out the door. Of course, Dr. Mark said he's going to stand by the door and say, you can't leave till you get your BIA. So, but we'll explain all of that. And in my Facebook posts, I'll make this a lot more clear. And then we went through the change specials. But this is $100 right now instead of $125.
For the people that are listening online, can you maybe just elaborate about what you're pointing at? The shake. The
Shake a Day. Because I didn't put a picture in there, sorry. When I post the Facebook post, and there'll be something in the Google Drive that you can actually go in and order, and all of the ordering instructions will be on there. So I can put all of that in the Google document, so you can all get your information on that. But it includes a healthy drink, the strawberry cream health drink, a bottle of omega-3, so the EPA DHA, and then the multi-mineral and vitamin powder. So you mix it all together, put it all together in a shake every morning or every evening, whatever works for you.
Thank you. Now tell them what they can win.
And you're going to have to tell them what they can win.
Oh.
So here's some ordering instructions, but this will be online if you don't want to take them tonight. So he was the prize master.
Okay. Are you all set?
I am all set. Thank you so much for letting me blabber on.
These are some sheets that we want everybody to take before they leave tonight. It talks about the challenge. It talks about the next class that we have coming up next month. For those that are online, is this going to be on Google Drive as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you can have instructions on that. We got Stacy in South Dakota again. I'll use her as an example. We want her to participate and play in this Facebook challenge too. The prizes, this is the fun part. We're going to be giving away $225 cash, okay? First prize gets $100. Second place gets $75. Third place gets $50. And it's just kind of our way to say we're all in this together. Now, obviously, doing this challenge is more fun with people, and that's why I wanted you guys here. We, as an office team, are doing this together. I talked to Julie about taking this to her place of work and offering that challenge to those folks there. Maybe Tammy, you can do it with some of your coworkers and so on. So much like when I do speaking engagements, we've all stood by the side of a lake and we toss a stone. And what do you see on a calm day in a lake? You see ripples, right? So the goal of this class is not for you to leave here and be the same you that you were when you came here. We want you to make a healthier change. I want you to think about those top 10 causes of death. What is in your genetic predisposition? What did mom and dad have? How long are you going to be here? How healthy do you want to be? And we're here to help you be a part of that. For those that are here, I'm going to put these sheets in the back. We also have some pizza samples. Donna is hooked up with Roy Dodds from Flying Pig Pizza. She went into the kitchen. They concocted a healthy pizza, and his company is called Flying Pig Pizza. It's in Sauk Rapids. And so we have some samples because it is a healthy version pizza. The recipes that you're going to see her share on Facebook are also going to be healthy recipes. I asked somebody the other day, I said, have you ever had spaghetti squash? I've never heard of spaghetti squash. I said, well, it's really good for you. And so again, there's different things that you'll learn through this challenge. So any questions for Donna before we call it or wrap?
Great job.
Pay no attention.
All right, well, then I'm going to get ready to log off here to the online people. I'm sorry you couldn't be here to have the pizza and the cocktails that we're about to have. So if you have questions, Donna said you can Facebook her. Thank you for being online this evening. We will have our next class coming up on Monday, February 8th. and we'd love to have you participate in that as well. Please give us feedback through the online presence. We'd love to have that. This is our first go around at this. So you can sign off now, Angie. Thank you so much, everyone, for being online. All right, for you those that are here,